And welcome back to GESC SA Qualifiers. We got T-Show, we got Infamous, and this is game 2. Infamous did lose the first game, although it definitely wasn't a game that T-Show completely rolled them over in. It did seem like Infamous had a couple of just general play issues on their side. A lot of tools, all the right tools, and then they just didn't put them all together. Like, you can go to IKEA and buy all the right tools, but you got to assemble it yourself. If you don't know how to use the tools, you're screwed, right? That was definitely my best metaphor of all time. Someone write that down. Welcome back. I'm Mike Glorious, going to be your caster for this game, and we have ourselves a tiny first pick. Gyrocopter banned out first phase. Man, I don't know why everyone loves Gyrocopter so much. I don't like him in the first phase. I think he's really good if you pick him up second or third, but tiny first phase, man, I'm down with that. Get me a Bane T-Show and then an actual whoever else, Sand King, anyone, and yeah, you're probably good to go. Although up against a Tiny, it does seem like a Disruptor might be a little bit more preferable. This is definitely a start that Infamous, I would say, a little more comfortable with. Kataro on the Omni Knight seemed a little bit off. Like, he seemed to think and play as if he was invulnerable and just could not die. Definitely not the case. Even though Omni Knight is kind of durable, his durability kind of falls off as the game progresses. But when he's able to play Tiny, when he's able to get those Assassination Burst kills, whoa! Then he's definitely in his comfort zone. So I would expect that from Infamous, but now we have a Tidehunter first phased by T-Show. First of all, I like the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor, I would say, is about as good versus Tiny as Disruptor is. So, there's that. And if you're planning on picking up a Tidehunter, Witch Doctor definitely gets a hell of a lot better. Once the Ravage is dropped, it's so very easy to land all of your spells as a Witch Doctor. But this is also a Tidehunter first phase. This is a hero that, although he is very powerful in certain matchups, is kind of pathetically weak in other ones. When he's up against range heroes, when he's up against heroes that he can't easily hit with Anchor Smash, then the lane gets a lot more difficult. Plus, now that the Disruptor is up from Infamous, they have probably the best Tidehunter counter possible, seeing as though Kraken Shell does not work versus Static Storm. It just doesn't do anything. So, this is pretty aggressive from T-Show. It is a hero that we did see banned out last phase. It was banned out 5th from one of these two teams. I don't remember which one, but it was banned out. So there's a decent chance that if you really want a Tidehunter, you might not be able to get it. But this start from T-Show seems to be one where they want to match the Tide up with the Tiny, and then maybe take an aggressive lane. I mean, we've seen Tiny go toward the off lane, I want to say exclusively. It seems like that's the case, at least. But matching up against Tidehunter is a matchup where the Tide should be doing just fine. That damage reduction is percentage-based, so Tiny's going to lose a lot of damage if he gets hit by that Anchor Smash. Plus, he has 0 armor base, so Anchor Smash that does physical damage will hit very, very hard. If that is going to be the game plan, Witch Doctor is certainly a good start for an offensive lane. Get yourself like a Luna or something like that. Get yourself anyone else with a stun, and you can definitely put the screws to Infamous very early on. If that lane setup actually does happen, then man oh man, this Tidehunter is a nuts pick, and I love it. If it doesn't, then could have picked it up later. We'll see what T-Show want to grab right now. Sand King seems like that's probably going to be one of the safer picks. They can partner up with that Witch Doctor. Alternatively, looking at 4 positions, Clockwork is still in. Man, I'm really surprised that like all these 4 positions are banned out, but like not Sand King. Like Sand King is still in. They could also go for Rubik. That's not terrible up against Disruptor and Tiny. Slardar for more fishy action is actually really good. It's an incredible hero up against Tiny. Again, low base armor. Just slap that amp damage on him and you can take him to town. If you really want to go hard though, you go for Undying. Okay. Like, yeah, you can go for all these crazy things, or you can go for a good hero like Sand King if you're interested in, I don't know, winning the game of Dota. I don't know why you would want to do that. Are they sponsored by Kappa? Is that a thing? This is something that requires investigation. Sponsors. Kappa. Kappa-USA.com. They sell clothing. Dude, what? What? Okay, everyone, go support T-Show and go buy some Kappa clothing and rep it proudly. I mean, you could also buy a Lenovo computer if you want to be impartial. But let's be honest, we would all rather be wearing something that says Kappa on it than using something that says Lenovo on it, right? Or is that me just being biased? I don't know. There's a very high chance that that's the thing. Okay, well, outside of that, what do Infamous want to do here? They have the Disruptor, they have the Tiny. They should be looking for their forward position of their own. It's a little bit difficult to deal with these supports. Sand King, Witch Doctor are just so versatile. Looking at Tidehunter, you already have a really good source of control. You can go for more, although it seems like damage might just be a little bit more preferable. If you're looking for some control, Rubik is a pretty decent one to have. Infamous can't really go hard pushing with Death Prophet and Terrorblade banned out by themselves. It's really tough right now. There's no real reason to pick up someone like a Winter Wyvern. You can go for a Shadow Shaman, perhaps. You don't really see him a lot nowadays. They'll go for the Night Stalker instead. Again, you don't really see it much else in the other regions, but for sure is still viable here in South America. Slap that Crippling Fear on the Tidehunter. He's not really going to be doing all that much. Obviously, Crippling Fear versus Witch Doctor and Sand King are going to be incredible as well. But it seems like this pick is more so a pick of, we don't really know what you're doing, so we're just going to take this pick because it's really safe. And I think that's reasonable. It's not like Night Stalker doesn't work with Tiny or Disruptor. Like, he'll be able to fit in just fine. I want to see this aggressive setup, though, from T-Show. They're working with a decent amount of team fight right now. Their initiation is not incredible, but should be adequate. I want to see that Tidehunter matched up against the Tiny, and then them trying to pressure elsewhere with a Lifestealer. That's interesting. Lifestealer is not really the best hero at doing that, so it seems like the plan for T-Show may have changed a little bit. You don't want the Lifestealer to go up against the Tiny. You have a good amount of sustain because you get a lot of lifesteal back from Feast and Open Wounds and whatnot. But yeah, the Lifestealer will have the Sand King to go in. His magic immunity is, though very powerful up against Night Stalker, Disruptor, and Tiny, is also something that you could just cancel. Because if you get the silence on him beforehand, if you Crippling Fear him, he's not going to be able to cast anything. That miss chance is going to cripple him as well. Ooh, it gets real bad from the Lifestealer at that point. If you're stuck in the Static Storm, like, forget about it. So this is a pretty risky pick, I think, from the T-Show side. Is going to have, again, some pretty decent matchups. Killing off Night Stalker, Tiny, getting value off of that Feast is certainly feasible in this game. And he is going to have a lot of crowd control on his team to throw around. So, you know, it's a lot easier to function as a melee hero when literally the entire team is stunned. So, Lifestealer, one of his big problems is sometimes he just gets kited. And you can see that happening up against Night Stalker quite often, I would say. You get tossed back or something like that from the Tiny. But if you hit that Ravage, Lifestealer is going to go to work. Oh, maybe not up against an Enigma, which T-Show, aren't going to be completely ill-equipped to deal with. But the Enigma here for the Infamous side should be going into the hands of Stinger. So we're looking at maybe an Enigma safe lane, Tiny in the off lane with the Disruptor. Something along those lines. It seems to be what Infamous like to do with the Tiny the most. I don't mind the Enigma. I think he's good enough up against the cores of T-Show that he's worth picking. Much like the Disruptor Static Storm, the Kraken Shell doesn't do anything up against Black Hole, nor does it do anything up against Midnight Pulse, and that percentage-based damage up against a hero that has this much health, hell, up against everyone on T-Show who have a decent amount of health, bar the Witch Doctor, of course, that'll do some serious damage. The problem is that you're up against 3 very long-range disables, Burrow Strike, Cask, and Ravage, that actually landing a Black Hole is going to be pretty difficult. Your Eidolons are also going to be not all that strong. You're up against a Tidehunter with the Kraken Shell, so that damage reduction is going to be there. Sand King, Witch Doctor, Lifestealer, they can all tank those shots. Well, maybe not tank the shot, but they can also deal with those summons very quickly and just kill them off. Troll Warlord, the last pick for Infamous. Getting that additional attack speed is probably the best hero to possibly have at dealing with this Lifestealer. In a man fight, Lifestealer wins a lot of matchups until bashing is involved. Then he's sad. Giving Tiny additional attack speed is quite nice as well. I don't mind that one bit from Infamous. I think this is a strong enough pick, although is for sure a hero that is going to have to worry about all of these stuns. BKB is an absolute necessity. In before T-Show picks Enigma. Dude, good call. Good call from the chat. They did, in fact, pick the Enigma. And they'll give, with this Troll Warlord pick, give the Tiny to Pepita instead of Katara, who's going to handle the Troll. Now, Tisho are going to grab that OD. And Troll is dumb as bricks. Dude, I think he still has the lowest int gain in the game. I think him and PA, I think, are, like, tied for lowest int gain. No, Troll is dumb. Troll's only got 1 int gain. I don't know if that's the lowest, but it's definitely on the lower end of things. So Tiny with 1.6, yeah. Infamous are not exactly the brightest crew here.
10 seconds.
But OD with that save, when you're looking at this single target of the Night Stalker, the Tiny, if you can block that combo, super high value from that OD. And again, it's another one of those heroes that, if you have a Ravage on your team, gets so much stronger. Like, if you Ravage the enemy team, you get 2 shots as the OD and then drop an Eclipse. Those heroes you hit with the Eclipse are just going to die. Like, no 2 questions about that. I think Infamous have pretty much kitted out their draft as much as they possibly can in order to make sure that they have good matchups. As in, Troll Warlord is great up against the Lifestealer. Enigma, Disruptor, they're great up against the Tidehunter. But for sure, they'll have a lot of stuns to worry about. So BKBs for pretty much everyone on the Dire side going to be a necessity. And on the other end, for the for this last pick, OD, seems like they're just picking him up because the lanes are looking fairly safe. Night Stalker can gank an OD, and up against a lane where he has a Tiny as an ally, like, you can put some serious damage into that OD. But Night Stalker is going to need at least level 2, level 3 in order to get Crippling Fear. Because if the OD is able to cast Astral Imprisonment, like, you're not getting that kill. It's just not happening. Seems like it's just a nice solid laner for T-Show. They are working with a hell of a lot of team fight right now. I don't know. These drafts are actually pretty close. They were pretty close, I would say, in the last game as well. It was just the style of play that Infamous really didn't execute with. This time, if they are going to lose because of style of play, it's going to be because they botched their team fight too many times. And when you have an Enigma, that's always somewhat of a risk. You don't land your black holes, or you black hole someone and then you get ravaged. It's a very high chance of that happening in this game, or burrow struck, or imprisoned, or anything. It might be difficult for Stinger to actually land some decent team fight in this game. But dude, he's got that cosmetic. Tell me. Quiz time. Block this out. Is this Enigma or is this Slardar? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Ice Frog, what have you done with your game? This is not, Enigma's not a fish. This is actually the same thing that Slardar has. What the hell? Dude, that's so messed up. That is so messed up. So yeah, the Lifestealer might have a little bit of a tough time. There are a lot of really good heroes up against the Lifestealer. So he's not really going to be able to solo carry or anything like that. He'll have to rely a lot on the stuns provided to him by his team. But overall, if you just get a Radiance, which I think should be the build in this game. Terrence goes for the Radiance, maybe Solar Crest, maybe not build. But get that, you get insane value with the Mischance. Staying in the fight, in the middle of the fight, with a Ravage and stuns going off like nobody's business, like your Radiances can do easily hundreds of damage without you doing anything. And if you can make Troll Warlord or Tiny miss, that's incredible. If you can clear out the Enigma's Eidolons faster, then that's incredible. So yeah, it should be a Radiance build here. So saw one Lifestealer go for a Battle Fury. That's not terrible here either, although I do think that I mean, Battle Fury obviously doesn't do anything when you're Black Holed, whereas Radiance does, so it doesn't do a lot, but you never know if it'll help. Let's see what lanes T-Show are actually going to put together. It's going to be a lot more difficult to get that versus Tiny lane that the Tidehunter really wanted, seeing as though Pepita and the Troll Warlord, they're kind of going to be coin flipped in the lanes. Both of them can very easily go towards mid. But Anchor Smash, being physical, being a, let's say, 50% damage reduction, means that Tiny's huge advantages of tree grab into free harassment are not really going to work out in the way he plans up against that Tide. Again, I like the Tide up against the Tiny, although I do think it's like it's a little bit early to do that in the first phase.
30 seconds to battle.
Looks like bounty runes should probably just be split. Are they really going to stick around up here? The Sand King does have the boots first. The Lifestealer is hanging around this top lane as well. The Lifestealer kind of wants to be against the Troll Warlord, if anyone at all. He would rather be up against the Enigma, honestly, but... I don't really know if they can get the lanes they want. Infamous, with their cores, they can actually throw their cores into whatever lanes they want. Oh, this is a 3-1 split. It could be a 4-1 split. If Tide Hunter just went up there, he could have gotten a 4th for the team. That is so much cash. I mean, they'll only get 3. Oh no. Only 3 bounty runes. How do they expect to win? But, yeah, you can see it's pretty good. It's pretty good right off the bat. So we're going to have a party up in top lane. So let's look at the bottom lane first. It is going to be the Troll versus that Tide Hunter. Should try to remain in ranged form for as long as possible. Mitigate that Anchor Smash power. But it's not going to be a lane where either side is going to come out disgustingly ahead. Oh, this, though, is going to be a little bit of party. Stinger doesn't even have a chance to summon anything. He's just going to get beaten the hell down. Is he just dead here? It looks like he will, in fact, go down. 4 for 4 will be the trade. Witch Doctor kind of lagging in the back. Has to fight up against the Night Stalker. Not a picnic for him. Now Dunhow is trying to fight the Night Stalker as well. I don't know why everyone's trying to fight the Night Stalker. It's not like he's a tanky hero or anything like that. Cass comes out, but the right click is snuck in from the Disruptor. Schofield takes a lot of damage here, but Night Stalker is king in these engagements. 660 HP, 6 armor. That's exactly the durability of Bane, actually, now that I think about it. So, yeah. I guess that's more of a testament to how tanky Bane is than how tanky Night Stalker is. They will instead decide to switch these lanes up. I'm not actually sure who moved first, though. So, that's my bad, guys. If I saw who moved first, I would know who this actually favors for real. I'm pretty sure, like, Tide Hunter's happy doing this. The Troll shouldn't be too unhappy about this either, but for right now, they got first blood on the Lifestealer. I think on the Lifestealer. Yeah, on the Lifestealer. And he's going to be able to happily farm on this bottom lane. Honestly, the lanes, like, it's not so disastrous that you just want to keep dodging them on either side. Like, no matter what, the lanes should be kind of even-ish. Tide has picked up level 2, though, and a level 2 Tide Hunter can do a lot of damage and also take about no damage. He just took like a full volley from these guys. Do 20 damage, reduced by a flat 12 with armor. He's only taking like 3 damage a pop from those Eidolons. I know I'm triggering you guys with that pronunciation. And I love it. They will find themselves a Disruptor. Maledict is only level 1 at this stage. Ooh, one more tick. That one did 50? Can it do 80? It only did 50. 66 it looked like. But Witch Doctor with the Maledict, this bullying power of the Tide Hunter, it's difficult to deal with. Over in the mid lane in the meantime, looks like we have ourselves a complete wash. The OD is not really going to worry all that much up against the Tiny. As long as it's just a 1v1, OD is happy. And it gets really, really bad when 2-3 heroes start going to the OD's lane. That's not fun. But for right now, he's as happy as a clam. And this Sand King's also fairly happy on top of that. Able to split some experience with Stinger. What a nice guy, sharing experience. Cancel. No, he's not quite going to be able to cancel the Clarity. But still just messing with this Enigma's jungle farm. They're actually going to put Schofield on this bottom lane just to farm. Just the off-lane Night Stalker. I mean, he is not going to be punished at all from the Lifestealer. So this move, I don't know if it was planned by Infamous. But this is actually insane value. They're just working with the full jungle Enigma. In the meantime, Mandy, kind of gets bullied over in the mid lane. Miss up the high ground there from the Disruptor. Can't quite get the kills. Pika is going to retreat. Should be just fine. Again, low-level Maledict doesn't really do all that much. But yeah, if Enigma does just stay in the jungle, they will have 3 heroes farming the lanes. Maybe not crushing the lanes, but getting farm in the lanes with an additional hero in the jungle. Now, this isn't quite what you want to be doing with Enigma. What you want is to get an insane amount of farm early on, and you can't really do that from the jungle nowadays, so like he would rather be farming the lane. But to get the Night Stalker some split farm. That might just be worth it. He's level 3 after all. Unfortunately for him, does not have that point in Crippling Fear. Killing off a Lifestealer might be a little bit tough. And oh no, the Eidolons, they're dying. That is so much gold that Terrence just got from like 4 right clicks. Jeez. They are thinking about trying to pressure him, but he's got backup here in the Witch Doctor. Not all that great up against Enigma's summons, but ooh, they're actually going to go on the aggressive first. Stinger is going to pop some Eidolons, and they will just go right to work onto the Witch Doctor. Cask will be bouncing through. Does go all the way back to the Enigma, actually. Dude, that's some wanted levels of paralyzing Cask curving. And that is going to be that. No aggression from the bottom lane. No successful aggression, at least. Disruptor is going to arrive, help out this Tiny just a little bit more. Trying to de-ward. There is nothing to de-ward, so OD again, a little bit more unhappy, seeing as though there's a little bit of a party in his lane, but still getting a decent amount of CS regardless. The fact that it's a 2v1 in mid and Mandy is still farming, means the OD is real happy. You know, ultimately, top lane Troll is going to go up against the Tide. You can see range form actually lets him hit the Tide Hunter without risking the Anchor Smash, but doesn't actually help him do any damage. Tide's just going to get the phase boots, and at that point, he can really bully that Troll Warlord. Speaking of bullying, over in the bottom lane, Burrow Strike onto the Enigma. Only has 1 point in the stun. And with the Lifestealer on his ass, he's going to Fairy Fire and actually escape. As the Night Stalker, actually the Enigma is able to take up that kill on the Sand King. Just short in the movement speed department here for the Lifestealer to kill off that Enigma. AA in a little bit of trouble now as Kataro hoping and praying for those bashes. Into the tower though, that's a little bit too aggressive for him. Have to fall back. Be a little bit of a free kill there for T-Show. Lifestealer is more than happy to make those aggressive moves, I would say, if he had phase boots. But opting for the power treads, not really the most kind of bursty kill power from him. The Night Stalker going to try to look at some of these other lanes now. You can see a lot of creeps have died in favor of the Dire side, but Infamous... yeah, they're still having a little bit of difficulty feeding over these Eidolons over in bottom. They're not worth a ton. I mean, Enigma's only level 3 up against the level 6 Lifestealer. Jeez. I feel like Stinger should be getting more experience in this, but this is just a testament to how weak jungle farm is nowadays. Mandy is going to use the Imprison already. Cask going to bounce through with the Maledict as well. Pita, I think, is going to go down to this one, especially with Dunhow coming in from the side. He does have some wand charges, so he's not going to die just yet. They'll trade the Witch Doctor for the Night Stalker with that Burrow Strike. And Pepita will survive. Wand charge is just good enough. OD. Imprison really good, but you only have one of them, unfortunately.
Top tower is under attack.
So Pepita is going to remain in the mid lane. Got a nice little 300 gold lead. Not anything that the OD can't recover from, obviously. But this Lifestealer is going to be a problem. Absolutely no pressure. Is getting, in fact, amplified in this lane matchup because the Enigma keeps on sending him free summons. And Tide Hunter's level 6. Gonna go for, he was looking for phase boots, and it looks like he's just gonna go for some magic resistance instead. But he's got the Ravage, and as long as he has a TP scroll, it is very possible that any aggressive attempt here for Infamous just gets hit with that brick wall of tentacles. I guess if it's a brick wall, it can't be of tentacles, can it? I guess it can be if the tentacles are like coming out of the brick wall. But trying to gank the Tide Hunter now. Crippling Fear is up. He has 3 points in the Kraken Shell, and he has backup incoming. Here comes the Ravage. They're going to focus down to the Troll Warlord, who's actually in tower range. And with the Maledict on him, he's in a lot of trouble. Cask now going to stun through both the Night Stalker and the Troll, and he will pop to the Maledict. That is what happened, although here comes Pepita. Out of nowhere with a chair. Tosses Dunhow, stacks him up, but the Burrow Strike lands at a 2. And he, with the Haste Rune, can chase forward for more, but decides not to. His Haste Rune is timing out soon. That stun from the Sand King being stacked up and then just Burrow Strikes through the 2 melee heroes. 156k ping. Holy shit, that's a lot of ping. That is a lot of ping, guys. Who paused? The Witch Doctor paused? Dude, didn't seem like there was any ping there. Seemed like it all worked just fine. That was a bold move there for Infamous, trying to get a kill on a Tide Hunter like that. You're looking at Tide Hunter, he's level 6. There's a small chance that Kraken Shell is level 2, or maybe even lower than that. He's a Point of Gush. Maybe he doesn't have Ravage. I don't know, but yeah, trying to go for that inherently is very, very risky. Unless they had a perfect read on what his skill build was, which I don't think they did. Schofield. Burrow Strike to land. They already used their Anchor Smash. Maledict was used, but not much damage applied afterwards. Troll Warlord is coming in. Schofield is going to go down to the Maledict, though. But now Kataro's here. Anchor Smash gets the Tidehunter out from that slow of the Whirling Axes, but into the Tiny. That's not where you want to be. Avalanche will kill him off. Now looking for the Sand King, perhaps. Whirling Axes not quite going to kill him just yet. The Witch Doctor is going to peel off to the right. Dunhow will TP back. And the Witch Doctor's caught in the field. He is so dead. Wham. A couple of kills here for Infamous. But ultimately not on the heroes that really matter a lot in that Lifestealer, in that OD. Actually, OD doesn't have quite as much farm as I thought. Tidehunter has an extraordinary amount of farm from that lane. Kind of as to be expected. Troll does fine in almost every given 1v1 matchup, but he's not able to bully someone like a Tidehunter. It's just not possible. The Radiance is coming in pretty quickly here. I wonder if Lifestealer can two-shot an Eidolon. I wonder if he could two-shot an Enigma. Burrow Strike is going to land. Maledict and Cask. With the Rage there, Stinger has an opportunity for a one-man Black Hole. Just gets a deny, and he's going to be happy with that. But a free kill here for the Lifestealer, accelerating towards that Radiance. And Lifestealer with Radiance already farms really quickly, but getting there even faster is pretty ridiculous, quite honestly. And again, Radiance is pretty nuts in this game. So I'd say 2 kills for Infamous. It is still T-Show working with the... They're a little bit happier in their position, I would say, than Infamous are with theirs. The Enigma's not getting quite as much as he would like. Already does have the Arcane Boots. I wonder, is Arcane Boots the standard for Enigma? I thought, like, it would be Boots, Soul Ring, Midas. Thought that would be a little bit more preferable. Either way, he has Mana Sustain. He's going to go for the Midas. But by this time, you want your Enigma to be, like, about at Midas. Because he's just able to farm that quickly with these Eidolons. It's obviously not there yet. They will, however, accelerate their Tiny. Mandy using the Imprison to farm. Hit with the Avalanche. Toss. Not going to toss him. That might mean he gets away. He has another Imprison for himself. Lifestealer is coming in, but he does get hit with that Silence. Cask now, an absolute all-star in these 7 fights with the Death Ward as well. Mandy's still alive, and he will survive. Getting the kill on the Tiny and turning things around. Imprison cooldown working perfectly for the OD. And of course that Cask. No creeps there, nothing but heroes, nothing but hits. That's the dream scenario for a Witch Doctor. Saving the OD gets him, I would say, that probably a little bit of components towards his Force Staff. Yeah, a little bit of Ring of Health action. Drinks a Sal, grabs a Ring of Health. He'll be able to stick in this lane for a little while longer. And killing off a Tiny is no small feat either, so... Again, this does seem like T-Show are able to do what they want to do, a little bit more so than Infamous want to execute their game plan. They'll just chill, wait for the Radiance. At that point, AA probably doesn't have a Blink Dagger by then, but they do have another Ravage right now, so... getting these tools together for T-Show, including but not limited to, perhaps a Blink Dagger for Dunhow, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is a very high chance that I'm not. If I'm not, I apologize. Uh-oh. Avalanche toss. Not dead out of that. Will probably die eventually, though. Gets up to the high ground. One more Maleficent tick. Now he can actually go into Sandstorm. Doesn't even need to, actually. Just gets to the Shrine. So Tiny makes another rotation. A little bit off onto the Sand King, though. The Enigma still just now hits level 8 versus the level 10 of the Lifestealer. Let's see, they want to start shoving these waves. Looks like the bottom lane actually is just a little bit too much of a party here for Terran, so he's going to farm top, which has been very quiet. Troll Warlord is going to go for that Battle Fury build. Ditch the top lane, so that means his tower is actually in a lot of trouble. This isn't your Blightstone Armlet Lifestealer, so this isn't going to be super fast. But this is Tidehunter kind of tied up, while in the meantime Mandy is going to be the victim of a gank. Crippling Fear first thing. Static Storm is there. Your Imprison is rather ineffectual this time, OD. The Maledict, the Death Ward, the Cask bounces. That'll kill off the Disruptor. Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, they don't save the OD or anything like that, but that was a pretty sweet turnaround for the Witch Doctor. Unfortunately, it is going to cost T-Show that tower on the bottom lane, so it's not a good trade to make. Unless you're Witch Doctor, in which case it's an amazing trade to make. Witch Doctor's going to be real happy about that one. Okay, Lifestealer, 200 gold off of that relic. Not the fastest Radiance we've ever seen, but still a reasonable clip. I would say the only thing that T-Show are not doing that they perhaps could be doing is protecting Mandy a little bit. Why doesn't this guy have any obs in his lane? I feel like at a certain point, like, you gotta protect your OD, guys. They should be also looking to leverage this Ravage. Once they get this Radiance up in the Lifestealer, they should be looking to do that, but not quite up just yet. Dunhow in a little bit of trouble here. In fact, he's dead. And by a little bit of trouble, I meant a lot of trouble. They have the Relic. They have a Ravage. The longer T-Show just sit back and do nothing, the more farm this Troll Warlord is going to get with this Battle Fury build. You would expect him to stay on top of the net worth chart for pretty much the entire game. More time for the Enigma to get value out of this Hand of Midas. Didn't get a good look at the timing of this item, but 14 minutes, Midas, Arcane Boots, it's not terrible for the Enigma. Blink Dagger, BKB, absolute necessities, at least that BKB is. And T-Show are kind of just sitting back and taking it. OD's farm really suffering. We have seen OD able to recover in farm in many games in the past. But that kind of has to require T-Show to give him a little bit of cover, and so far he's been receiving very little.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We'll find the Witch Doctor. Burrow Strike is there, but Static Storm is dropped. Won't catch anyone. 4-4 still probably going to die here. Cask a little bit late. They get the Maledict off and they Ravage? Why? Why? They Ravage a Disruptor. He's super dead. Like, this is the most dead Disruptor you've ever seen in your life. But that was a little bit of a panicky move there from AA. Gets glimpsed back to the bottom lane now, where the Troll Warlord is waiting for him. I mean, I guess they didn't know exactly who was in the area. The vision coverage from T-Show is a little bit lacking here. And now they're looking at the Lifestealer. There is no blink on the Enigma, though, so walking in for a Black Hole up against a Lifestealer. We don't have much sustained damage. Might be a little risky. They do, however, go for it. With the level 3 Midnight Pulse, Lifestealer has an infest, but nothing to jump into. They perfectly chain stun him and get the kill. Man, T-Show's timing and being forced to wait for this Radiance is absolutely destroying them. The Ravage is now offline for still another 100 seconds, so they can't really do anything teamfight-wise. Yeah, there's no Black Hole on the Enigma, so that's maybe something that they can abuse in theory. But they need the Lifestealer. They need a Tidehunter to have some sort of threat. He's gone for the super defensive build, much like his Abaddon build. So even though he is alive, he's pretty much irrelevant because he doesn't have a Ravage. And now he's gonna back off. He'll be just fine. Maybe. Avalanche. Toss. He does have a hood. And he is very bulky, but he'll get tossed back into some creeps. Now forced to run the other way. Anchor Smash. Not usable up against that Static Storm, and he will go down. T-Show are just chain feeding. It seems like whoever's on the Radiant side, they just don't know what they should be doing. I mean, no, that's not fair to say. T-Show do know what they should be doing. Wait for the Radiance, and then start to make plays. Wait for the Blink Dagger Sand King, and then start to make plays. But they don't have the proper vision coverage, or TP backup, or both, in order to make those plays actually work out for them. Now, they will hit a big spike in power once they do get this Radiance, when they do get this Blink Dagger on Sand King. But by that stage, it may just be a little bit too late. Because Infamous are rolling right now. Like, look at this Troll Warlord's net worth. Look at this disgusting damage. Holy crap. Dude, Roche doesn't stand a chance. I thought they buffed Roche recently. Didn't they do that in like the past 5 patches? Just do nothing but buff Roche? Troll Warlords seems to not think so. He disagrees. He's on top of the net worth chart, and I don't think he's going to move from there. 18-minute Radiance on Lifestealer. Seen worse, but this is still less than ideal. And as this game progresses, it's going to become more and more of a game of, yeah, gotta land a Ravage. And on the other end, there's a Static Storm to counter that. There's a Crippling Fear to counter that. Tidehunter with a mechanism into Guardian Greaves might be able to counter that Night Stalker to some extent, but will never really be able to counter the Disruptor until he gets a BKB. And that's going to be a long ways off, if it's ever going to happen at all.
Tower is under attack.
You just randomly cancel that Sandstorm? Okay. Wants to Burrow Strike for the creeps. No Caustic, though. Feels bad, man. While he's messing around with the creeps, he's going to get killed off here. The allies looking for the tower. Aggro pulled off, though. This tower should be denied. Oh, man. Insult to injury. Lose the Sand King. Lose the tower. Lose the tower kill, let's say. Get absolutely nothing. Even lose a tower on the bottom lane. Dude, the past 20 seconds are just absolutely disastrous for T-Show here. Plus, the stack doesn't even work because the Thunderhide is lazy. Can anything get worse? Can anything get worse? I feel like it's always the Thunderhides that don't move. Like, say what you will about the Prowlers. They always chase you and try to kill you. But look at this. Look at this. Look at this piece of shit creep. He's just like, nah, man. I'm not going to move. I'm not going anywhere. And Mandy's now pushing by himself. Absolutely no vision on the map. With no TP scroll. I mean, what can possibly go wrong with that play? Oh, he baits out the black hole with the Force Staff. And now here comes the backup. Stinger in a little bit of trouble here. Burrow Strike still available. No, Sand King actually doesn't have it because of the Crippling Fear, but they do Ravage to kill off the Enigma. Drop the Eclipse onto the Troll Warlord. He does have the Aegis, though, and he's putting up a hell of a fight. Schofield's going to rotate in once again, looking for Mandy, but the Self-Prison is going to save him. They do pop the Aegis off to the right side of that fight. Schofield is going to be pushed off by the Sand King, so the OD might survive. Off to the main fight. Death Ward, Maledict, onto the Troll Warlord. He should be dead here. They will lose 4 for 4 as Pepita does come in. Epicenter onto Schofield, though. Still trying to snipe out that OD, but he can't quite find him. And Mandy now can maybe turn things around. Schofield hit with another Burrow Strike. They have perfect vision here on the Night Stalker. Do they have enough mobility? Another Force Staff in 13. Lifestealer doesn't have a lot of MS here. Now here comes a Tiny with an Avalanche Toss that will finally kill off that OD. But now he's up against the Lifestealer. With that Radiance Burn, the status resistance is going to do nothing here for Pepita. He is going to go down. And Schofield, he fails to kill off the Sand King. No mana, no HP, but Sand King has done an impeccable job in this fight. That will be only OD to fall. That's Troll Warlord and Tiny to die, including that Aegis. There was some push on top lane, but I believe that was just Disruptor, so not a relevant amount of momentum in that top lane. And man, I didn't expect that fight to go that well for T-Show. I mean, you do that as an OD, like, you gotta have a Blink Dagger or a BKB, or at least a Teleportation Scroll. But, nah, he didn't have any of it. I mean, yeah, he did die, but was able to get the Lifestealer at least 1 kill. Lifestealer got 3 kills, actually. That was an absolutely incredible exchange for T-Show. And we can see how little it actually matters, though. I mean, Kataro's right back on the horse, killing off Ancients by the truckload. Still on top of the net worth chart. Ravage is down for another 45, but Black Hole does have a longer cooldown than Ravage, just slightly. 180, it's like 150. Usually doesn't matter a lot. Enigma is almost at that BKB. Once he has that, game gets so much easier. 70? Well, he's gonna get hit with the Maledict. No Death Ward. I feel like if you just drop everything on that Disruptor as the Witch Doctor. Oh no, there's a Glimmer Cape. Okay. Didn't want to commit everything because he didn't have any True Sight. So. But now we have a moment where T-Show actually do have some serious advantages, or at least things going well for them. Have that OD with the Force Staff, looking for that Hurricane Pike, very close to completing that. They have a Ravage up right now with the Mechanism, Radiance and Lifestealer, and a Blink Dagger on SK. These are all the things that they need to have to win a team fight. They just need to have proper positioning, and if they can answer Disruptor by Ravaging him or Burrow Striking him first thing, that is how T-Show win these fights. I mean, yeah, obviously killing off and handling the Enigma is very important as well, but Disruptor is a lot easier to handle. And hey, look at that! They've found Disruptor, but they don't have any True Sight, so that's awkward. They'll go for the Night Stalker. You don't need True Sight to kill off a Night Stalker, but he is going to go into the Shrine. He does have a Solar Crest. He is very durable here. Cask is going to be thrown out, but the Night Stalker is going to drag it away. And here comes Stinger looking for a Black Hole. He will find it only onto the Lifestealer, catches the Sand King with it as well. And that should get them 2 kills at least. And now the Witch Doctor is going to be picked off by the Night Stalker, trying desperately to kill off that Disruptor. Not going to happen. The Tidehunter, not with his allies, is going to try to be up against Glimpse back. He was not even in that fight, and he still is going to go down. Do not Ravage, dude. I swear to Jeebus, if you Ravage right now, man, don't do it. Just mech and run, dude. Just mech and run. You can see how tanky he is. If he actually was in that fight, that might have been a turnaround. Although, you can't Ravage to interrupt BKB Black Hole. Ultimately, that's 4 kills for Infamous. Mandy was not involved in that fight at all either, nor was this troll. Gonna go for BKB. Is that completed? Oh, that's a completed BKB. Gonna go for a Monkey King bar next. Get rid of that mischance from that Life Stealer. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to get MKB in this game, because once you're BKB'd, once you're Magic Immune, you don't take that mischance, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. Probably damages better, or even a Blink Dagger might just be better, but T-Show, that was not how that fight was supposed to go. Do they have True Sight now? Yes, they do. Get that dust. If the Tidehunter was with them, maybe killing off that Night Stalker lets them turn around and actually fight reasonably well. Maybe they actually save some heroes. Damage reduction from Anchor Smash, getting a Mechanism heal. Might just matter. And he does have that Hurricane Pike. The TP out should be just fine here. Both sides just probably just waiting for the next Roche. Infamous do have a little bit of an advantage in that department, seeing as though Kataro can easily solo Roche, whereas no one on T-Show can do the same. So Infamous have to commit fewer heroes into the Roche pit. 30 seconds, possibly. Kataro is just skyrocketing out of control here. 5k net worth, or 5k net worth lead on him alone. But the 15k overall net worth for the team is, well, I mean, Ravage is a powerful ability, but it has to do a hell of a lot. T-Show at least do have the type of draft that can, with a miracle fight, just get right back into it. Land the Ravage, land the Sanity's Eclipse, land an Epicenter. Only level 1 Epicenter, but you know what? Land all those tools and you have a shot. Dude, this base attack time on the Ancient Black Dragon is so garbage. In the meantime, Infamous, smoked up. They'll grab a couple of dragons of their own, and if they head to the north, there's a Life Stealer that they might be able to kill. Can you not grab bounty runes when you're in here? Apparently not. Okay. I actually did not know that. Well, Life Stealer is off map. The smoke is going to be ineffective this time, but if they poke up, they will immediately lose someone. Dude, he died before the toss even did damage because of the Echo Saber. Like, Dunhow just got his shit kicked in for real. And they've also found the dragon. I think Troll Warlord can kill the dragon and the Life Stealer if he just gets a little bit lucky. Or just gets the Life Stealer. You're not going to get out of this, Terrence. I don't really know what the plan was there. Like, maybe hope that there would be no Troll Warlord in the area. Maybe they didn't know that he had a Shadow Blade, which is a possibility. Stinger, he's going to blink dodge the Gush. Not picking a fight with Mandy, though. Black Hole being set up. 4-staff Blink Dagger. Can't blink out of the Black Hole. Ravage is going to be there, but it hits onto only one hero. And the OD is going to go down almost for sure. The Epicenter Schofield right now. And try to handle a couple of these heroes, but no real damage is coming out. As the OD is gone out of this fight, the Life Stealer is dead. And Tidehunter doesn't do any damage. They will be able to get out with the Witch Doctor. Maybe AA lives. Probably not. But that fight, Infamous, like, that was a really bad use of Ravage into a fight where you don't really have anyone who can fight. So, like, if they actually had Life Stealer alive there, then that would have been reasonable, but that's obviously not going to happen. 20k lead. This game might just be over with no Ravage available, with the Tiny cleaving through everyone. Mid-racks are going to be claimed. Top lane is still protected. Let's walk in, grab mid-racks, go back towards Roche. And I'm not sure if T-Show can put enough together here to actually win this game. Like, even if they found 10k net worth on the ground, would that be good enough? I don't think so. Even if they found 25k on the ground, would they be able to win? If their execution suddenly changes from what it is right now, they might be able to win. But given this current state of execution, I don't think T-Show can actually win this game. They have to like mentally refresh. Because the Ravages, the team play overall, the decision making just hasn't been there to the degree where they can actually win. Pizza, we have that BKB forced out of him. He does have a double damage, you don't really want to mess with that. Off to the side, Static Storm catches onto pretty much just the OD. Have isolated the Night Stalker with a Death Ward from the low ground. Schofield is going to die to this. Stinger is going to tell Blink in as well. BKB forced out though, no TP, so they can just give chase here. They do dust him up. Pita is going to give him a little bit of cover here. Now here comes the Troll Warlord right on top of the Lifestealer, right on top of that Tidehunter. And he with the BKB is unstoppable, cleaving through everyone. Double kill for Pita and a kill on the Lifestealer for the Troll Warlord. Looked decent, kind of, until Kataro decided to actually show up and fight. GG is called. And T-Show, they are going to be forced into a game 3. And you know what? This is like kind of nice for Infamous, but this is also still kind of crappy for Infamous because they have to now play a 3rd game with the best of 5 next. Like that is so taxing just mentally for either of these two teams. If T-Show were able to win this 2nd game and then go into a best of 5 after a break, it would have been like a reset button, but they lose this game in pretty terrible manner, and now they're going to go into a 3rd final game here, fighting for their life here in GESC. I really just think it was the timings that didn't work out for T-Show. The OD didn't get enough vision help in the mid lane, or wherever he was farming, there was no vision. The Lifestealer's Radiance was never used with the Ravage of the Tidehunter, which in general, the Ravages weren't that good. So definitely Infamous, once you get that Battlefield and Troll Warlord, like, they're not losing that game. Unless T-Show suddenly, again, just hit that mental refresh button and start playing for real, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen. Guys, we're going to a game 3. The winner of this best of 3 has to face up against SG Esports, a fresh SG Esports, in a best of 5. That's after this. It's going to be hard for whoever wins. It's going to be hard, but guys, we're not there yet. I'm Mike Loris, and I'll be right back.